Even if you don't know it, in this very moment you are flowing down a gigantic great river. And that river is going to carry you downstream no matter what you do. That river is going to continue pulling you down its waters. And there's absolutely nothing that you can do to stop it. And some people think that they can. They think that they can swim against the river. And they have wrapped themselves up in the illusion that by swimming against the river, they are going in the opposite direction. And yet the river carries them along anyhow. The river pulls them down the waters anyhow. Some of us, you included, you watching this video right now, bringing this video into your life on purpose, you have realized that you cannot swim against the river. You have realized that swimming against the river is a futile act and that the river will carry you along anyhow. And with that, you've realized that perhaps you can also swim with the river. You can swim with the power of the river behind you. There is a saying in Sanskrit that is used in Hindu and Buddhist practices that is Tat Vam Asi, which loosely translates to English, you are it. And we can look at that saying in multiple ways. One of the ways that we can look at it is to say that you are it. When you are looking for what there is, you are it. There is nothing here but you. The sun that shines in the skies, the clouds that pass by overhead, the trees in the forest, the bugs on the ground, the birds that fly, all of that is your doing. You shine the sun, you blow the wind, you drop the rain in the same way that you beat your heart and you don't know that you're doing it. You don't say, I beat my heart. You say that your heart beats, and that's because it seems like it is something that is happening separately from you, but it's not. You beat your heart, and you don't even know how. You don't have to know how. In the same way you don't have to know how to shine the sun. You don't have to know how to flow the rivers, how to make the tides wave in the ocean. You don't have to know how to do these things, and yet you do them anyway, because you're it. And the other way to look at Tat Vam Asi is to say that you're it. You're it. Like you're playing tag, like you're playing a game with the universe. And that's really in a certain way, that is the truth. That's what you're doing. You're playing hide and seek with yourself. You are an aperture through which the universe is looking at and exploring itself. And as such, you are incredibly powerful. You cannot swim against the river. You cannot swim in the opposite direction, yet swimming with the power of the river at your back gives you infinite power. It unlocks your entire life. Watch the world unfold in front of you when you realize this. When you practice swimming with the river, when you practice flowing, we need to learn how to quiet our thoughts. The way that we put this into practice, the way that we gain our power is by quieting our thoughts. And when I say thoughts, what I mean is the talking in your head, the conversation that you are constantly having with yourself, the incessant, confounded chattering of words and concepts, meanings, ideas, and labels that flow through your brain. Did you know that those are not your thoughts? Have you ever heard somebody ask, what language does a deaf person think in? The fact of the matter is that people do not think in language. We recount and quantify our thoughts in language. So when you were speaking to yourself in your head, what is really happening is you had a thought, an original thought, that was bound by no language. And you took that thought and boxed it in by applying a word to it, by applying a sentence, a phrase, a paragraph. You took your boundless, endless, infinite thoughts and you put them and confined them within the bounds of language. When you learn how to quiet that chatter, when you learn how to listen to the words and the meanings passing by in your brain as if you were listening to songs on a radio, or as if you were listening to water running in a brook next to you, you unlock the power of your mind. Your intuition is sort of like God speaking to you. The intuitive thought that you have underneath the words, underneath the labels, underneath the meanings, is like the universe speaking to you and through you. You don't have to know how you're going to do it. You just need to do it. You don't have to know where you're going to go. You just need to go. Because there is a form of you that is higher than the form of you that you are experiencing now. And that form of you knows exactly where you are headed. It knows exactly the path that you are headed down. And that form of you is bringing you to all of your dreams and aspirations. Everything that you want inside, everything that you want in your heart will come to you. Why is that? It sounds crazy, right? Well, the reason behind that is that the external world is sourced from the internal world. If you really think about it, the world around you is a projection of your internal world. If you try to look into your own head, a lot of us would think that looking into our own head would be a lot of blackness because it's the inside of our skull, and there's just a brain in there and it's all closed off from the outside, so it's black. It's just darkness, right? But if you really think about it, the state of your head, the state of inside of you, is what you're experiencing outside of you. The one thing that they didn't teach you in school when you were growing up that they should have, before they taught you how to do your ABCs, they taught you how to count to 10, to 20, to 100. Before that, they should have taught you that everything is vibration. And they should have taught you that by receiving that vibration, you are creating the world around you internally. You are caught in a feedback loop. This feedback loop is sometimes positive and it's sometimes negative. What you believe internally reflects itself externally. And what you receive after reflecting externally influences how you feel internally. And so, for example, when you see a person standing in front of you, it would be quite odd if you saw that person freeze and do nothing. And so your internal world believes that that person is going to do something. And so comes the next thing, whether they start talking, they walk, they fidget with their hands. That is an external reflection of your internal world. And as a matter of fact, everything is an external reflection of your internal world. And when something doesn't quite add up, something doesn't make sense, your internal world will fill in the gaps for you. So you see, when you explore, when you find things, when you learn new information, etc., what it is it's your, whatever it is that you can find, whatever it is that you can learn or see, explore, whatever you learn in this life, your internal world will fill that in. And so something, no matter what it is, you see, you built the laws of physics. In this realm of thought, you built the laws of physics because when something happens as a result of your internal world, you need something else to explain why it happened as well. And so the deeper that you dive, the more that you explore, the more that you try to find out the answers to things, you will find more and more answers, and they will be ever confounding. You will never stop finding answers. And so you see, you will never get to a baseline, bottom level understanding of anything. You see, because you are the one who is creating the information. Your internal world is what is creating it. For example, when we look at science, the turn of science in the 1900s, when we started to look at atoms, we started to look at things at a smaller scale because we thought that that would help us understand the world. And so we started breaking things down. What we tried to do really was reverse engineer the universe. And the nature of reverse engineering is that you break something down into its smaller parts and you try to figure out how they work together. And so we broke things down into molecules, and we broke them even further down into atoms, and we broke them even further down into protons, neutrons, electrons, and quarks. And you see, the problem is that the protons and neutrons need to be made out of something. And so they're made out of something even smaller. But those something smallers need to be made out of something even smaller. And it goes ad infinite, you see? And it's not really that they have to be made out of something smaller. It's that if you explore, the deeper that you look, the universe is getting away from you. You see, the harder you look at it, the more it needs to run away. And it's all because it is an external reflection of your internal world. You are creating the information. You are the source of everything. You are it. Tat Vam Asi. So, that leads us to belief. Your beliefs will guide you through this world. Whatever you believe truly, deeply inside, will reflect itself in your external world. The problem lies within getting yourself to believe it. If you go and buy a lottery ticket and you truly, utterly, desperately believe that you are going to win the lottery, you will. But it all depends on how much you truly believe that. And above all else, you have to remember that you are flowing down the river. You cannot go in the other direction. But you are the river. And as such, you can have the power of the river behind you at all times. It's time for us to wake up. And it's time for us to start swimming. Thank you guys so much. Much love to all of you. Grateful for you. In the description of this video, there will be a link to our Discord server, The Conscious Path, if you want to speak to me and other like-minded individuals. It's a great place to be. There's lots of love, lots of good energy. And also in the description of this video, details about the acoustic classical guitar giveaway that I'm doing right now. Much love. Thank you again.